weather. Here is Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, a pretty refreshing start this morning for Ash Wednesday, and then we continue to see these clear skies throughout the entire day, pushing us all the way up into those lower 60s, and by tonight, only dropping down into those 40s, but we're on the lookout for the return of some of these dusty conditions by tomorrow. Winds are expected to pick back up by this evening. Now, temperatures over the last 24 hours pretty decent as we made our way back down into those 40s last night. As soon as those winds and those dust storms finally calmed down, then gently warming up into those mid-60s, and right now we're leveling out in those mid-60s before we drop again back down into those 40s. 67 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a combination of those upper 60s, if not those lower 70s across the entire Concho Valley. 66 in Sterling City, 68 down there in Junction. Looking like 4 degrees across the entire Concho Valley despite seeing some of these clear skies, so we're on the warm-up. Now, dew points and humidity indices are down there in those teens and those 20s while we're still dealing with these dry weather, but the fast-moving winds are definitely on their way. Now, NASCAR is going to be this weekend, so we were looking in Arizona for our next wave of those high winds. Dust storm's not there yet, but it is on its way. Moisture tracker is showing you where the dry air is, but we have our eye off the west coast for the resurgence of severe weather. Now, it's not looking nearly as intense because the concentrations of blues are more off towards the east, but take a good look near the weekend. Stephen and I have our eye out for the potential for some low cloud cover, if not some light rain. Fingers are crossed. You saw the drought monitor. Now, upper level winds are going to continue to show us where the ridging is going to keep a lot of the severe weather out of the way, but the cutoff low by next week is the one we have our eyes on. Now, the setup for earlier this week for that tornado warning was a cutoff low around the Panhandle, as well as seeing some heavy moisture and those dew points around the Concho Valley. That's what we're going to have our eye on this year for any severe weather, but it's mostly looking like it's going to be around Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Tennessee this year, but hopefully we see a lot of rain as a result and no tornadoes. Now, high-level cloud cover, if not water vapor imagery, is showing you where that cold, fast-moving dry air is finally on its way out, and that ridging is fighting its way back in, so we have our eye around the Sierra Madres, where you can sort of see this cloud cover trying to produce some precipitation, but they are expected to see some more snow around the Rocky Mountains and parts of Wyoming by tonight, so winter storms are still going pretty strong. Severe weather outlook is the west coast, where they're going to see a little bit of rain that'll move over the Rocky Mountains. Then off the west coast, that's all that severe weather Haley is talking about, is they're about to deal with what we dealt with yesterday. Now, we take you down to the surface because you still see those red flag alerts going off towards the western part of Texas, if not New Mexico. Then off the east coast, you can see that tornado warning around the Carolinas. That's exactly what we were dealing with yesterday, and you saw it barrel across the entire Gulf Coast. Now, the Futurecast is going to show you pretty much absolutely nothing as we keep our eye on the resurgence of that cloud cover, but we have our eye on those high winds by tomorrow. Then as the weekend rolls around, keeping our eye on that circulation around the Sierra Madres, you see the cloud cover and the light rain. Now, we talk about those winds because keep your eye on it. It will push back up to about 40 miles per hour, so we have our eye on the dust storm, again seeing them from the southeast about 25 miles per hour before we start to see those winds push in from the west around lunchtime tomorrow. So keep the jacket close. Tonight back down into those mid 40s, then tomorrow right back up into those upper 70s, but again being on the lookout for that dust storm. Things calm back down for Friday, so make sure you make some good Friday plans because we're getting all the way up into those 80s. Then here comes that cutoff low and that cold weather as we drop all the way back down into those 50s, looking out for the potential for some rain. Again, fingers crossed. Then we're on the warm-up for that second week of March as we make our way all the way back up into those 80s. And yes, that is another dust storm on the horizon. Stay tuned. Over the break, you're watching KSAN News at 5.